Hi guys, welcome back. So let's pick some teams for the Rugby World Cup final, England versus South Africa. Now, there's a few injury worries for England. Apparently they should be okay, but if Sinclair, who was struggling a little bit, didn't play, that would be absolutely massive. Cole's, nowhere near the player Sinclair is, and you saw in that semi-final how good Sinclair is, making that first try. So really hope he's going to play. Even if it's, a half or something, I think they'll get him on the pitch. I think that's the same with all these guys. Farrell took a bit of a bash, a pretty big bash. He was struggling. And he's another guy, I think, he's going to play even if he's half fit. It could be an error, of course, playing someone who's not quite fit, but hopefully he'll shake it off. And Johnny May really didn't look quite as sharp as he was. If May's not fit, that is a bit of an issue, because that's either Thokanasiga to the wing or McConaughey. And, well, to be honest, in a World Cup final where there's going to be a massive kicking battle from South Africa, it may well be McConaughey, which would be very interesting. Someone who I didn't think maybe really was needed to come, could actually play in the World Cup final. Probably they might move Slade there and move Daly on the wing. But, it's an interesting one. Hopefully they're all going to be okay. And the other change in the England team, well, the only change I've put in the England team is Spencer coming in for Hines. Hines pulled his hamstring, he's out. But Hines stays as a Spencer mentor, so to speak, to bring him up to speed. And it's quite ironic, really. Spencer's the guy I've been wanting in this England team since the beginning, who I've been saying, you're taking too many back three, they should have taken Spencer. Now here he is, in the nick of time, playing well for Saracens already, hopefully going to come and save the day. But just going through this England team then, so you've got Mako, George and Sinclair. Absolutely no way you're going to drop any of them, they were sensational. Marler coming off the bench and Cole coming off the bench with Cam and Dickey, it's absolutely nailed on. Laws really stepped, and we knew Itoje was amazing. Laws really stepped up in that semi-final, so he cements his starting spot. Cruz retaining on the bench, and there's no way you're going to drop Curry or Underhill. South Africa are going to bring a lot of physicality, and I think that's why we'll see Wilson stay on the bench. Actually, Ludlam's done very well this World Cup, but you need his extra muscle, I think, of Wilson anyway, so that makes sense. Then the midfield again. The midfield is the question. De Allende has been brilliant this World Cup. He's been one of South Africa's best players. You saw the try he scored against Wales, sheer strength, and there is absolutely an argument to play one of Ford or Farrell and then Tuilagi 12 and Joseph or Slade 13. There generally is that argument, and I wouldn't put it past Eddie, but the way Ford and Farrell did play last week, they'd be odds on to start with Tuilagi at 13. And one thing I said about Tuilagi at 13, he's looking very sharp and nimble, which was one of my worries before the World Cup. And they've slimmed him down. England have deliberately slimmed Tuilagi down a bit. Sure, he's still powerful, but he could be a lot bulkier if he needed to be. So they really have, shaped him for that 13 slot. So again, another reason why I think they'll probably stick Ford, Farrell, Tuilagi, although it's a gamble because South Africa have a lot of power up the middle with De Allende. And hopefully the back three will stay the same, but I mentioned May. It will be a big risk to play a half-fit winger because obviously they're doing a lot of sprinting, max out sprinting. If a hamstring goes or something's wrong with the leg, it's probably not worth having him. So I'm a little bit worried on those knocks, but apart from that, like I said, Spencer coming in has got a huge job. Hopefully he'll get up to speed. He has played a bit for England, he's played against South Africa for England, but I would have liked him to have played more for England up until this point. That being said, Hines hadn't played an awful lot either when he came in. On the bench, Slade and Joseph probably, if Noel is fit, he'll probably make the bench, but it just doesn't seem likely that he's going to be fit at this stage, but we'll see. If he was miraculously fit, he'd probably be on the bench straight away, and if May's dodgy, maybe even start. That'd be a bit of a story. Okay, over to South Africa now. Straight away, I've made a change. I'm starting Kitsoff. I like the way they're bringing that power off the bench of Kitsoff and Marks, but against England, they've been playing so well. Why would you leave one of your best players out when they come on it could be actually all over? So I'm going to start Kitsoff. I'm going to reserve Marks. I think Umbanambi's been playing very well. But you know, there's an argument for starting them both, but I definitely would start Kitshoff there. And then pretty much the same in the pack. And the one other change I've made is at fullback. You know, I've said Willy le Roux just hasn't been playing well enough. Against England, they're going to kick as well. They're going to put him under a lot of pressure. He's made so many mistakes. And it's not like they're using Willy le Roux's skills to the maximum anyway. He's a playmaker, someone coming in, distributing the ball out wide, and they're probably not going to do that a huge amount anyway. So I'll put Wilhelms in. He's a very highly rated player, and I think he could do a real solid job at the back there. So a bit radical at this stage, but I think it's worth doing. I would definitely retain the 6 forwards on the bench, because you know that's where South Africa's strength has been, and then stay Yankees and staying on the bench. Okay guys, so that's my selection. A few changes, not a lot for England. Spencer coming in, bit of a risk, a guy coming in right at the last minute, but obviously they didn't take 3 scrum half, so he's going to have to. Do they stick with that midfield for South Africa? I'm saying put a few of their better players in to start, maybe even drop Willy le Roux. What do you guys think? Let me know what your starting teams would be, and until next time, I'll see you then.